October the 6th, 2024. Guys, this is an update that came out at 10 o'clock Central Time, so it is 2 hours and 45 minutes old. They call it advisory number 5. Notice that the movement now is sped up from 3 miles an hour to 6 miles an hour. Maximum sustained wind 65 miles an hour. Now, I think more than likely it's probably already a hurricane because this is 2 hours and 45 minutes old again, because they're saying it's here. Tropical storm force winds out in this area. But in the next update, it looks like it will be a hurricane. Then 7 o'clock Monday morning, in the morning, this is what we're going to be dealing with here. Then it changes right here to a major hurricane, which would be a 3, 4, or 5. They're saying a 3 now, here, here, and here. A strong hurricane still as on the other side of Florida, which means that it's going to take a lot to slow this Cat 3 down. If it remains a Cat 3, I'm just wondering now. We've got 65 mile per hour winds. 74, you're going to get into the Cat 1, and I think we're probably there now looking at the satellite images. Now, I waited to that update to start putting the new plot together, and we've got this major hurricane started here. This is going to be the last 3 segments as of today that they point out before it comes ashore. Now, it's going to be coming ashore as Cat 3, Cat 4, or Cat 5. Some of the numbers are very strong indeed. 135 knots sustained winds. Think about that. That's Cat 5, right? That's what we're dealing with here. If you pull these up, right there, guys, you're dealing with... Let me move this over so you can see the notes. Sorry about that. 110 knot maximum winds. Gust at 135. 110 knots is 127 mile per hour. And guys, that would put you into a Cat 3. And then just under a Cat 4, it starts at 130. But your 135 gust, you see that? That's 155 miles per hour. And that's Cat 5. Dealing within a half a mile speed right in there of being Cat 5 gust. Those gusts, that high, guys, is what destroys buildings. It doesn't just throw water up. It starts tearing down structures. Now, this is the 3rd tracking of the storm so far that I've put up. And, guys, it started out, it was going to be just to the right of Sarasota or to the north of Sarasota right there. Sarasota was going to be in the bad part of the storm. And then last night it was coming up through Tampa towards Orlando. Now it has moved back to the south, guys. This is Venice right there. Sarasota's to your north. There's Siesta Key, South Venice, Northport. Here's, let's see, it's going to be coming across Highway 75 right there. Let's go on up. You can see the line. And now it's down below the Cape Canaveral area right there. There's Cocoa Beach, Satellite Beach, where it's coming out through, let's see, Love Ridge Heights, Ugali, Oceanside Village. There's Canova Beach Park, Satellite Beach, Pelican Beach Park, Lansing Island. You see the path right there. So we expect it to change, but again, it's changing left and then back to the right pretty quick, and it's picking up speed pretty quick for both forward speed and the speed of the winds. Now, this track update came out 28 minutes ago, and you can see the Navy model, again, is the furthest north model, bringing into the sections of Florida that sure don't need it, guys. And then you've got the CMC model wandering right through here, just light green right there. That is, as far as the most popular models, those two just about nailed it every time in the last day or so. We talked about it before. You've got some wide variants out here. They throw every possibility into the computers and see what it spits out, different people doing different things. But again, the CMC model is bringing it pretty much to where we were seeing the National Hurricane Center on that last chart. Now, this is the 11 a.m. tracker here. Notice how it goes very quickly from what they're calling a tropical storm now to a Cat 2. That's how fast it's strengthening, and it does not look like it's going to get close enough to the northern Yucatan, guys, to really slow it down. Becoming a Cat 3 here, and then right here is very deep water between these 2 points. It gets shallow here, it's shallower here, but right there and coming through the Florida Straits is where the Gulf Stream comes out. It's very deep. It's a big, wide, deep bowl of warm water. The deeper it is, the more energy it holds, right? So when it gets over that deeper, hotter water, it's not going to be just dealing with surface temperatures that are very hot, but it's going to be churning the water over. Heat's going to continue to rise. The storm's going to continue to build. Now let's take a look at the Canadian model. Notice it just misses the Yucatan. Then it kind of centers Lake Okeechobee according to the Canadian model. This is going to change, but let's just bring it back one more time. Let it go through. Stop. It's a deep water there. And did you notice that turn to the north and then a turn back to the right? We're going to have to watch that because of we'll have to watch what the high pressure is doing over it. Let me back that up just a little bit. It comes close to the Yucatan. Let's go back the other way. Turn north and then back to the east. Keep that in mind. Now, this is the global forecast system. Check this out. That was a different storm. Let's start it from right here. Here's Milton. Skims, not enough to even slow the storm down, but look where it comes in at. The same place Helen did, or Helene. Secondary storm here. Notice where that high pressure is bent down into this area. That would force that second storm out. We hope that's what happens. But again, this one's coming up into the Big Bend area, coming back down under the under the high pressure. Boom, they blow through right there. Now let's take a look at the latest satellite images over the Gulf itself. Here's Milton right there. What I was saying earlier is Florida, you're already getting a lot of moisture. And all the way from the Keys through the entire state. Same thing happened up in the Carolinas and Georgia and Tennessee on Helen and the flooding and the disaster there. Is it sat there and rained on them for about 3 days, and then the storm got there. So now you're not in the mountains and the valleys, guys, but you have your own problems in Florida. I'm not going to forget that slight turn to the north. That's what we're going to be watching, and it will be determined by the high pressure over the Gulf states. Let's say that. Check that out, and we'll look at the infrared becoming very rapid, very powerful. Notice in the last few frames how the center clouds are starting to expand and rise very high. And this is going to tell you all the way across the map here where your higher clouds are the ones with the most water. And this one, they're the blue, that powder blue. And then white is the lower clouds on the surface. And you can see that there's an influx pushing from the Atlantic, pushing south and west at the surface level. Notice that all of this is going in there. What we're starting to see, though, this storm is going to start forming its own weather. Look at all of this moisture already being pulled in. It was going to be pushing over into Mexico. Now it's starting to wrap around this storm. Now let's look at the infrared on this. Look at that. Spin's already there all the way around it. Very nicely wrapped tight. And we're looking at a Cat 1. And the next update it will be. But remember, just setting about right here, it's a Cat 2 in the charts. Very powerfully wrapped. This thing is going to be a nightmare for Florida. I hate to say it, guys, but this is about the truth. We got to warn people. Wherever this thing comes in, just by watching that, and I'm going to zoom in on that spot just a little if I can. This gives you a better look at where the most dangerous part of the storm is, right there. Now it's starting to make that move. Remember, it was supposed to drop slightly to the south, and we saw that. Just was moving in here, dropped a little bit. Now it's about to launch across the Gulf itself. It's basically out of the Bay of Campeche now. But that right there that really concerns me, guys. That is very powerful system. Wow. And just checking on one other filter. This is called the day cloud phase. It's overnight when it's red, and you're starting to get your spin right here. This is the center of the storm. Those are hurricane force winds that we're seeing around them right now. That the next two updates will be very critical. Let me back this out. And guys, up in the mountains, in the Appalachian Mountains there, Tennessee and Georgia and Carolinas, Virginia, we have not forgot about you. There's different communities there that are setting up Facebook pages with Go Send Go, things like that. And if you can help look those up in your area, and what they're talking about is Monday, which tomorrow night, is going to be in the 40s. And they're begging for propane cylinders like that for the heaters, and of course food and water. They need things like insulin for the diabetics, of course diapers and things like that for the kids. And one of the ladies who I think Tina posted it on her Facebook, that lady's Facebook, she's on the ground there, and they found 105 bodies in one day, and they said that's nothing. They were walking up and down the banks there, and it's a different scene altogether. She was pointing out that a lot of that's red clay territory, but all of the sand that we're seeing piled up along the riverbanks and into the buildings, she said that was coming from the lithium mines. As they did their work, the sand piled up and it would wash down the rivers, and there's 6 mines in that area, and it is sand. She says usually you just see red clay and dirt, not that much sand. Just telling you 2 things. Somebody wants that lithium in the quartz, because without it you can't have a cell phone or a computer or anything else. Televisions, electronics would go back into the Stone Age without it. They know that's a valuable piece of property. But that sand, instead of being the Georgia red clay and all, you know how it is through the mountains, it gives you an idea of what's really going on. Now, it looks like you guys are missing most of this moisture. This is a little cooler air, and that's why you're going to start seeing that temperature drop. They're needing supplies there, like propane, even the little green bottles. A lot of these folks up there, they have that type of equipment to run it, propane stoves and stuff like that. But the lady made a very interesting statement about that. She was saying that they're not just really turning away a lot of supplies, they just don't have anywhere to put them. The buildings are gone. Their houses are gone. The fire station's gone, or all of the above in certain places. And that was one of the big problems. But it was really heartbreaking when she said they had found 100 bodies that day in their section, and you got thousands of people missing. They said they could be finding bodies up to a year from now. But our hearts go out to you guys. We sent a little bit of money up into that area ourselves. It wasn't a lot, but it adds up, and we hope that you get more donations there, guys. I'm gonna put a link to that information. You may know the person. I think they have a pretty big Facebook section on living in the mountains and all of that. And the lady sounded very sincere, and that they needed the help. They're raising the money on GoFundMe, I think it is, or Go Send Go. Anyway, I'll find that and put a link to it. But that's just one area. I think they were in North Carolina. So be aware of that. And if you're in that area up there, try to get in there with some warm clothes, coats, propane, anything you can get your hands on, extra water and food like that. But we have not forgot about you guys. I know it's going to be tough. Winter's getting ready to start. It's going to be getting colder and colder, especially in the elevations, higher elevations there. But we're watching it, guys. Florida, be very careful with the storm. And again, we're going to watch how that northern turn actually comes out. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.